What did you say this is?
What a day.
What a day.
What a day. What a day. What a day.
What a day. With Joe Lowry.
Hey everybody, Joe Lowry, what a day. And my guest at this time really needs no introduction. She is currently stirring things up on AEW, and now she's going to stir things up here on What a Day. Please welcome to the show the lovely and talented Red Velvet.
Hey, Joe. What a day.
Welcome to the show. And, you've had quite the week, it seems. Your segment this past week on AEW Dynamite, Cody Rhodes, you and Arn Anderson and Tony Schiavone, highest rated segment of the night. Obviously, another ratings winner for AEW. Should we be calling you the demo goddess now, or what's up with that?
I've heard that on Twitter, so, I got to get approval from Jericho for that, but we'll see,
Yeah. Now, how did now you've been in the independent circuit for a while now. How did this whole thing come about with AEW and so forth? I know you've been with them for a few months now. So how did that come about?
Well, I went one day as general extra talent to have a match. I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time there. So I just kind of went about my day, stayed quiet and see what was going to happen. Later on in the day, they told me I was going to have a match. It was going to be Kenzie Page and I versus Brandy and Allie at the time.
Right.
So, that's nerve-wracking a little. You're like, oh, the boss's wife. Oh, man, pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, right?
Right, no pressure. But it went great. And then it just took off from there. And I kept getting asked to come back. And now we're here, so.
Yeah, you've been really thrust into the spotlight. We'll stay with that topic real quick. So you've been tasked with teaming with Cody Rhodes to take on Jade Cargill and obviously NBA Hall of Famer Shaq at the March 7th Revolution pay-per-view. I mean, what are your thoughts on this huge matchup? And did you ever see yourself in this type of matchup to begin with?
No, I did not. As Cody said, it'd be ideal for it to be him and his wife. And that would have been a great matchup either way. But she's on to a beautiful, more important journey to be a mom. So I thought I'd step in because she had my back since I got there when I was getting attacked and stuff like that. So I thought it'd only be right for me to return the favor, especially since Jade, she's definitely, to me, I think she's more bark than she is bite. She loves to cause drama and say little things about people and sneak attacks. So I just kind of just how I did in the waiting room, kicked the door down and I was over it,
I love that segment, by the way, the waiting room. That was a great segment.
Yeah,
great
I didn't have to say much. And I kind of wanted to show everyone that it's actions prove why words mean nothing. I didn't have to step in and blah, 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 and demand this and that, how she's been doing the past weeks. I stepped in there and I let her know exactly how I felt about her. And when it was time to talk, I let her know exactly how I felt about her last week. So it's going to be a big matchup. So far, it is the biggest match in my career. A big platform, lots of pressure, but, this is what I do. I love what I do, and I'm just
now a lot of the critics out there are saying that Tony Khan is trying to be like WWE now, incorporating Shaq and all that stuff. I've seen online, and I don't read the dirt sheets, but I see the headlines, unfortunately, when you Google and everything. And it's been done before and so forth. But to me, AEW is so separate from any other organization, and to do something like this obviously is going to be huge. Do you feel this will benefit more, as opposed to a pro and con type of thing? Do you think this will help accelerate AEW Main Street type thing?
Absolutely. I think it's only, how do I say it, general or normal for people to compare.
Right.
People I'm really big on reality TV. I love watching reality TV. So I understand where people come from with the comparing both sides and oh, but she looks like this person and they're trying to do this. So I don't really worry too much about that. I just one big thing I learned in my life is just to live in the present moment. So all I can do is live in the present moment, have that big match, knock it out of the park, and have the ratings go even higher for AEW. I'm really not concerned what's going on the other end.
Right.
I love my AEW family, so it's only gonna go up from here. You know, we're growing, we're still new, so everything is trial and error. No one's perfect. So, but I'm here for the ride. So I don't
Yeah.
really care what the dirt sheets. The
There's
dirt
no
sheets
doubt.
are always gonna say the worst.
I know. You always get the bad news before the good news. I think it's great no matter what. AEW obviously knocking out of the park with or without crowds. Obviously, that you guys are a ratings guru to the point where NXT most likely is going to have to switch nights now because it's just deteriorating that bad. How do you think AEW is dealing with the pandemic? I mean, I know you've wrestled in front of thousands of people. All of a sudden, the pandemic hits, and you're wrestling first of all in front of nobody, and now you have like the general audience where they can only hold so many people at Daly's place. How do you feel? I mean, do you still get that rush when you get out there? Is it different? You tell me.
I mean, this is the biggest platform I've been on, and it's bittersweet because this is all I know. All I know
Right.
is Daly's place
There you go.
with AEW. But like I said, it's bittersweet. I got my job there during COVID. Had they not been stationed there for as long as they have, I don't know if I would be there as quick as I got there. So it's been a blessing for me, a blessing in disguise. But definitely, I still get the rush. It could be 2 people in the crowd. It could be none. I still get nerves. That means I love it. I always say the day I don't get nervous anymore is the day I need to retire because that means I just don't care about it anymore.
Right, exactly.
So I think for now, they've done a great job at just staying in the public eye. People are tuning in no matter what. People are watching, AEW Dark, Dynamite. So it's a tough time, but I think Tony has made the best of it with what he can. And it's been going great.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Now, switching gears again, going back to the big tag team match, when did you find out that you were going to be filling in, well, basically substituting for Brandy Rhodes when she found out she was having a baby? Did you know all along, or is this something that was just...
No, I actually did not know. That was something very sacred and very private to their family. So when the entire world found out that day that it was announced, I found out as well.
Wow.
So then it kind of just spiraled from there. She found out she was pregnant, and then that still didn't really stop Jade from coming after me for some reason. So I think it was only logical that I got chosen to fill in for her. I don't know what the future would have held if that was the thing they've always wanted, or if it was because I've been aligning with her. So I don't know, but I'm grateful. When I was asked to do it, I already had issues with Jade, so I was like, perfect, let's go. And I get to back up Brandy, let's do it. I'm a very calm and quiet person, but I'm very respectful. So when people cross the line and stuff, I'm very big on I want to be a mom one day. So when they throw the little jokes oh, well, she's gone for 9 months and stuff like that, that really boiled my blood a little bit. So I was like, all right, Jade,
you're not really off for 9 months, right? I hear you there. So let's get to know Red Velvet just a little bit here. When did you start? When did you want to become a professional wrestler? Was this something that you've always dreamed of? Did it just happen upon one day that you had the talent to do this? I mean, how did Red Velvet become Red Velvet?
Well, I watched wrestling since I was 9 years old with my mom. Everyone thinks you're supposed to watch it with your dad. My dad was a professional boxer, so he was kind of always in the gym and stuff like that. And I did training with him, and I did MMA and stuff, but I just didn't want to be a boxer. So at 9 years old, I saw wrestling. I fell in love with Lita. My mom made me for Halloween, her outfit, her one piece that she had the first time. And I always said to her, I'm going to be a wrestler when I grow up. And I used to model 9 years old, and I joked about it. I didn't, at that age, you're still too small to know wrestling school exists or nothing. So I fell in love with it. I watched it. And then you kind of grow up and you do other things. I started dancing. So I wanted to be, a dancer, and I became a professional dancer. And then one day I was just I started watching wrestling again, and I'm like, man, I've always been a sports person because that was how I was raised with my dad in boxing, but I love to dance and I love to entertain, and I'm like, what better way? I can fight and I can entertain and I can be beautiful and do all my dance things, let's do it. So 2015 I tried out for a show, and it just took off from there. I wasn't like put on the show, but
Right.
everyone was like, you need to wrestle. Like, you always watched them when you were little. And now when like high school people or elementary, my friends I only had guy friends who watch wrestling, so I was protected.
Right.
I hung out with the boys. I've had people hit me up even from elementary, and they're like, I clicked TNT and like you're on TV. Like, I can't believe it. We joked about it in 3rd grade, and like
That's
here
awesome.
we are. And it just came full circle, you know.
So, did you have any formal training with anybody, or did you just learn on your own?
No, I started training with first with La Rosa Negra. She's gonna be
Okay.
at the Mission Pro show. She has
Yep.
actually champion. I started training with her. Then she put me in the hands of my other trainer, JB, because she went to Japan.
Okay.
So that was awesome for her. She went over to Japan, and then I started training with him. Yeah, I've just had them two as my trainers. I've had really good mentors along the way.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I can't complain. It's been great.
Awesome. Now, have you been ever approached with WWE at all, or been involved with that side of the business, or has it just been strictly indies and AEW?
Well, I just did the indies. I think everyone's assumes I should have been in WWE because of my father-in-law or my fiance. But they know very well I like to do things on my own. So
Right.
when AEW came along, I was happy because I was separate from them. Not for nothing, they've done great things, and
Right.
as my father-in-law in WWE, nothing to them, but I just felt at home in AEW, and I earned
Sure.
it all.
I hear that a lot more than not. So,
Yeah.
So, by the way, congratulations on your engagement. I do believe you guys are going to engage in December. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And of course, whenever I hear the name Briscoe, I go right back to. I know I'm kind of older than you, but I do remember the Briscoe brothers growing up. Even though I was relegated to Northeast Wrestling, I always read the wrestling magazines and always wondered who these Briscoe guys were. And then they came up here, and it was great. But so to have that in the family and so forth, that's got to obviously be a plus for you, training wise, preparing, storytelling, and all that. Does that work out well for you?
Yeah. My father-in-law has been amazing with just like the overall advice.
Right.
Wes is too. He gets tired of me watching wrestling so much. So when we're home, I don't watch too much wrestling with him because he's lived it his whole life. So I give him a break and we'll do our couple stuff. But my father-in-law and him, they've been great with just keeping me focused, keeping me humble, keeping me, they've lived through all that, the fame and stuff like that. So they keep me very grounded on just staying the same person I am, no matter how high or how low it goes,
Now, you mentioned that Lita you watched growing up. I'm assuming she was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She was like the first person I saw, and then I saw Trish.
Yeah.
But there was just something about her. She was so different. She was all tatted, and at that age, you're like, ooh, what's that?
Oh, yeah.
But she was like super athletic, and I loved that about her. That's what drew me in the most. And her and the Hardys were my favorite, and I think it's funny that it's full circle. I'm in the same locker room with Matt Hardy now.
Yeah.
We work at the same place, but it's awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Lita came aboard. I mean, she first started out with the Hardy Boys. Of course, I go back to pre-Hogan, post-Hogan, Attitude Era. And to me, her, Medusa, Trish, they were all trailblazers, which no doubt paved the way for talent such as yourself and so forth. Another question I'd like to ask is, I've talked to Medusa or Alundra Blaze about this. The men seem to have like the mentors, like Arn Anderson, Jake the Snake Roberts, and so forth. Do you think it's time now on screen and, maybe behind the scenes that the women start to get involved here? I know Medusa's been very vocal about it. Do you think something down the end or, down the line, that could be something to look at, have the women start mentoring the women in the future?
Absolutely. That would be great. I mean, I've been able to meet Alundra Blaze because of Mission Pro, and she's just amazing. Her, Jazz, all these women, even now at AEW, we have Serena Deeb, and it's just great. Vicky Guerrero. I think it is time. Like, we're in 2021, like, we're equal, so we should get the same respect, and women should be out there mentoring younger girls and even the girls that are still wrestling now, because that's only fair,
Yep. It was funny. Did you watch the Royal Rumble last night at all?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, did you see Victoria? She came back, and some of the other girls. It was a real throwback for me because I haven't seen them 10, 15 years. So I think it's time. I know to be honest with you, I'm more of a fan now of this generation of the women versus the men. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's talented. I grew up in that larger than life era where a wrestler was 6'5", 250. When you come walking down the street, you knew who they were.
Yep.
But now it's like if Seth Rollins was walking down the street, or Finn Balor, or even a Darby Allin. No disrespect there. It's like they just look like regular guys. And so I've always been like that larger than life. But when you transcend that to the women bring a different element to the ring. And to me, I think sometimes it's even more at a storytelling, more attention and so forth. So yourself, I mean, outside of watching your matches, I think you were on AEW Dark back in I want to say in the fall, I think when you first got here, you were on Dark a few times.
Yeah.
I knew you had talent. I'm like, she needs to get up to the main roster. I mean, you just know when you see somebody, whether they're just going through the motions or whether or not they're working hard. I see you in the ring, Thunder Rosa, Allison Kay. You guys work. You tell a story. And so far, between me and you, and I've had Jordan Grace on the show a few months back, I think her match with Deonna Purrazzo at TNA's Impact pay-per-view back when COVID first started was unbelievable. It was 20 minutes of no crowd, just them wrestling, and they didn't even need a crowd. And that to me is like they got to push this type of thing now with the women. And obviously you're going to be a part of it. So, that speaks volumes for me and for you. Do you feel the same way? Do you think the women now are getting more and more each as the week goes on, more exposure?
Oh, absolutely. I went from back in June when I started, there being 1 or 2 women matches on Dark. And now there's 6, 5, like the card is stacked with women.
Yeah.
And it's because every week we keep delivering and knocking down the haters. Every week it gets harder. Every week there's more criticism. Every week there's more negativity. So I just grab all of that and it fuels me up. And I might be on the other end of you in a match, but overall we're all doing this together to bring more awareness to women's wrestling, because it's only going to get better. The girls are only getting better, even like competing right there with the guys. It's just like it's evolved so much.
Now, real quickly, I know we're running out of time here because we're just checking in. You have a big thing coming up February 6th. This is a Mission Pro Wrestling. Tell us about your match coming up in that card.
I will be going against Sky Blue. It is her debut match.
Oh, wow.
So I love catching the ones debuting first. No, I'm just kidding. But she's excited. I'm excited. She's young, firecracker, and I love when they're that age, because I never got to start wrestling that young. So just to see how young they are and getting started so early, it's like such a blessing. So I'm not that old, but I do love getting in there and giving people the rub, how they call it.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, it's about putting everybody over, and you return the favor, they return the favor, and it works out, and the fans win in the long run. So that is something. Now you get the March 7th Revolution pay-per-view coming up. Any messages to Jade Cargill and Shaq?
They need to bring it. She's a lot of bark, so maybe she'll bring a bite or two. I'm not afraid. I think a lot of people underestimate me because I'm small, but if I haven't backed down from the moment I got through the door, I'm not going to do it now. I've been put up against Nyla. I've been put against Sheeta, the champion, and stuff like that. And everyone's always like, oh, she's going to lose, blah, blah. And whatever it is, I live to see another day. And that's why I'm still here. That's why I was the highest rated minute. So I'm not afraid of Jade and the Pizza Man, Shaq. He wants to come up with these cute little names. Cupcake
The
Cookie,
Pizza Man.
Pie. So I hope that their wrestling is as good as their shit talking, because that's
there
pretty
you go.
much all I'm good at.
There you go. Now AEW's live this week. Are you going to be making an appearance that you know of, or
do I what?
Are you going to be making an appearance on AEW this week live, or?
I am making an appearance on AEW Dark tomorrow. I have a match.
Oh, that's right.
against Alex Gracia. It's the Pink Dream versus the Red Dream, and it's going to be a sweet dream. I have that, and who knows? I can't give any spoilers. I will be there for Beach Break to watch that. I will be there for Penelope's wedding and Kip.
Yeah.
So who knows? I might make a separate appearance apart from that. But I will
Awesome.
definitely be this week.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on. What a day. I know we're running out of time here. Real quickly, how can fans get a hold of you on social media?
You guys can get a hold of me. Instagram, I'm now LA_Red Velvet for Instagram. Twitter, I'm the with 2 E's, THEE_Red_Velvet. Woo! You guys can find my old stuff on YouTube. You can book me now on Cameo. Valentine's Day is coming up, so I can either send your boyfriend or girlfriend a cute message or help you break up with them.
Nice.
I can do both.
Is that popular, the breakup ones?
No, I have yet to get one of those. It'd be pretty funny. I'm waiting for it still, but I haven't gotten one of those yet. Just a lot of birthdays.
That's good.
So you guys can book me on Cameo. You can
Nice.
purchase some of my T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. And if you're in Texas, it's still not too late. You guys can come over to Mission Pro. Other than that, catch me on AEW Dark. Catch me on AEW Dynamite. And thank you so much, Joe, for having me. What a day, right?
What a day. Well, Red Velvet, I want to thank you for coming on What a Day. I'm sure we'll check in later on down the line. Who knows? Mission Pro Wrestling, AEW. It seems like you have tremendous success now, and then you're going to have it. It looks like the sky's the limit for you. I wish you the best of luck, as well as you and your fiance, Wes, on the future as well. But we'll be in touch, and I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I'm Joe Lowry, everybody. What a day.